Welcome to the Game Deflators Podcast, episode 39. My name's John. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Ryan.
Hey, everybody. Here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we're currently playing, games we've recently picked up, and, dude, you know, I thought the puddles were just fine in this week's Inflation-Deflation Challenge.
The puddles?
Yeah, you don't remember? There was a whole controversy of whether or not the puddles were as high def as they were shown off to be.
I don't recall that, but given my history of looking at bricks and pieces of granite in games, I will say that was probably something that occurred back then.
See, and it's just that kind of attention to detail that lets you know that your money's safe, folks. Listening here at the Game Deflators Podcast.
Dude, wonderful, wonderful transition.
There we go.
I definitely like that one.
So, what's going on, John?
What's going on with you?
Not much. Everybody, if you don't know, it's John's birthday. So, shout him out. Give him a happy birthday.
Yeah, that's I've reached a ripe old age that I was hoping I wouldn't reach, but it's here. I won't go into details, Ryan. Let's not throw all that around, but it is my birthday. So I do appreciate the gifts, though. Ryan got me a mug with a bunch of butts on it. That was fantastic. Some video game socks, a bunch of candy, along with a Mario, a Toad head candy.
It's like a mushroom. It's probably got like
see, I told you,
sour candy or something in it.
Up there by Owlboy. I got the green one.
There you go.
See, I got a matching one now.
Set.
And best of all, he and his wife got me 4 pieces of art that are like schematics for the N64 and SNES. Yeah, like schematic patents, whatnot. Dude, those are awesome. Like I thought I had somewhere to put them, but now I gotta I'm thinking right here along this window.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get it worked out. I got some room here, hopefully. So that being said, man, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, would you get yourself this week?
Oh, dude, that lot that I'm looking at, it's not like a crazy expensive lot. The price I paid for it is crazy, and how it all worked out. So I'll go into story time here for garage sales. I was making my way downtown. What is it, walking fast?
Faces past and you're homebound.
Yeah. So first place I go to, it's like biggest yard sale of a year, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go out there. I see a guy putting up a sign. I'm there like an hour after it. Typically, it's like, it says 7 o'clock. I get there at like 7:30 or so. So not an hour. And there's nothing there. Like the address there's nothing on the property. There's no big yard sale. So I'm like, all right, screw this. I go to the next one. It says that it starts at, about 7:45 or so, or 7 o'clock again. I get there, nobody. I'm like, man, I'm hitting dud after dud. Third one, I drive out, nobody. I'm like 3 yard sales in a row, but I get nothing.
Like
so
there was just nobody there? Like they didn't even have a yard sale going? Or all the stuff was gone?
I followed the signs, got to the area, and like you follow signs, there's no yard sale. And it's advertised. I have an application for it. So I hit 3 dead ends. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give one more shot. And then I'm done for today. Like, if this pans out to nothing, I'm done. I'm going home. But before that, I was like, let me hit another, like, Craigslist type application or, like, a Facebook Marketplace thing. And this lady was like, Xbox 360 games, 50 cents a pop. I'm like, okay, well, that's not a bad deal regardless. So let me go check it out. It was, like, a mile from my house. And it wasn't advertised anywhere else, just on that application. So I go out there, and she has the Halo Wars Limited Edition for 50 cents. The entire Avatar Last Airbender season or series on DVD, 50 cents. A number of other titles for 50 cents. I was like, all right, cool. Like, here's, 4 games, or I think it was like 5 games, and I'll give you $3. So I took the 5 games that were like of decent value, took them with me. And right after that, I get home and I sit down, I'm like, I wonder if there's anything else in this application. Look it up, and this guy's got like Conker's Reloaded and a bunch of Xbox games and a console and everything else. And he was like, $40. And I told you a story, obviously. So get to talk and whatnot. I tell him I only want a few games, 15. He comes back, we'll give them to y'all for 20. We go through about 30, 40 minutes of not, me end up not, I'm not supposed to get them basically at that point. Somebody else comes in, makes an offer. They're going to take 2 hours. And he's like, you know what? I'll sell them to you. You asked me first. I get there and he's like, take everything for $20. So, dude, overall, I think I got like, it's pictured on Instagram. It's like 15 or 20 games total between PS3, PS2, original Xbox, DVDs, a console, found out he had one of the network adapters that you put on an Xbox 360 to get wireless. $23 for all of that was like no brainer. And I've already I sold some of the stuff to recoup my my total money and get to keep a few games, which will be nice. But yeah, so that was my pickup, and I was quite excited. Once that all gets sold, the majority of it, I will be putting that into. I'm looking to purchase Persona 1 and 2 on the PSP. I got a friend that's selling them. She'll give me a great deal on them. So that's my next route.
See,
for
folks,
gaming.
if you're out there and you want to build a collection, you could do it. You just got to put the legwork in. And, like John said, if you play your cards right and you don't be too picky here and there, a lot of your collection can wind up paying for itself.
Yeah, for the most part.
It's just all about being diligent.
Exactly. And it takes a lot of time, dude. Like most of the time it's when I'm hanging back, watching TV, and anybody out there that says like, oh, well, I don't sell because of resellers and whatnot. And it's like, at the end of the day, how else are you going to be able to build up? Like all the stuff I have here, it's had to go through trading or like selling something and putting it back towards like any little bit of profit towards something else. And, it's just how it works out. And the vast majority of your collectors out there, they're out there buying and trading and selling too. Like, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So, yeah, dude, I'm pretty stoked. And I can't wait to play some of those games. I'm considering keeping the Xbox 360, but it's one of those old white consoles, and it's probably going to red light at some point. So it's like, do I just trade into GameStop for like $10? Or do I just sell it to somebody for like 15?
Yeah.
I think it's a lose-lose regardless. And then if I keep it, it potentially dies on me. So I don't know. But outside of pickups this week, did you get anything?
Yeah, so I got a PS Classic because you told me that they were only $20, so I ran out and got one finally. And I feel justified paying $20 for it because I think it'll be fun once I get it all, set up and get all the other games and stuff on there and really have a cool little thing. I think it's a great little desk thing. Like if I had a monitor with a extra HDMI input in, I think it would be a no-brainer to leave that on your desk just to have something you could just like flick over and do a little messing around on something with.
Yeah, dude, it'll go great in your little office room that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And get an HDMI splitter.
Right?
Yeah, just hook it up and you'll be good to go.
There we go.
So, yeah, dude, and if you get to hack that thing or mod it, that's gonna be flipping sweet.
Yeah,
to be able to have
all the fun stuff.
Yeah,
except for anything that needs analog sticks.
Yeah, that actually sucks in a way, and I wonder if they did that on purpose to like deter you from wanting to hack it.
I don't know. I'm assuming like the controls plug in through USB.
Ryan.
I know. Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday to me.
It's just one of those things. I assume that there might be some potential to maybe hook some kind of Bluetooth adapter up to it, or if you were really good at modding, get it to work, because it does have USB ports where the control ports are.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can plug some kind of interface into it.
Maybe. I think what I'm most excited about that console though is Persona Revelations, or Revelations Persona. I mean, the game's like $300, and the fact that we get it on a $20 console, it's a no-brainer to pick it up at $20. Now, what was the original price point? Like $100, I think is what it was.
I think it launched for like 90 or 80.
80 to 100. We'll just go with that price point. And yeah, I mean, even then, like, I guess if it was like scarce, and they weren't going to produce, and it was kind of a limited product.
Yeah, 80.
80. Yeah, so $80, it might have been okay, back then if it was like super limited. But the fact that they completely flooded the market with this, and it wasn't really the best of emulator, or not emulator.
Well, we talked about it a ton when it came out. Like everybody remembers that it was not a great success, but they were just trying to piggyback. But I actually haven't messed with it yet. It seems fun. It is cute. I like it, and I'm hoping that I'll actually be able to get into playing some fun old games on it, or playing any games at all, because this yet another week has gone by where I'm the worst video game podcaster because I haven't played any video games in the last week.
Did you play anything on your phone?
Nope. No, I saw that that Gundam Gunpla game, I think, is out on mobile now, and I kind of wanted to check that out, but I already have 3 other giant robot games I'm not playing.
And maybe like 10 other games that you're in the process of playing.
Right.
Yeah, so no, I wouldn't feel bad about that. We definitely need to play some Cool Borders, though, on that console.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
You're killing me with the noise today, dude. So, in terms of currently playing, since you didn't play anything, obviously,
How much farther are you? Another 4 hours?
In what, Suikoden?
Yeah.
So, funny enough, 0 hours, because my wife and I decided to start playing Donkey Kong Country 3, and there's a couple other things I'll discuss. Instead of currently playing, it'll be what's John currently watching, too. So, Donkey Kong Country 3, we are in K3, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5th world in the game, excluding the bonus world, because you can get there at any point. And yeah, dude, I'm stoked. It's my favorite Donkey Kong. I have the strategy guide because I'm like, I've already beat this game so many times. I'm like, I just want to get through and not have to mess with like, where's the bonuses? Where's the DK coin? Like, it's easy enough that you can find that stuff on your own. Like, it's not hard.
But you'd rather just do it the first time and not have to wander.
Exactly, and have to tab down like, oh yeah, I was in X level. Okay, let me write it down. I didn't get both bonuses, or I didn't get 1 DK coin. I got to go back to this and just keep progressing. So that's just one of those things. I think we're 3.5 hours in on the game itself, and it's fun, dude. It's by far my favorite Donkey Kong game in the whole series, or whole franchise, really. And some people give it some hate, but I love all the features of it, the different worlds, the interactions with the different bears, building your hovercraft or your boat to a hovercraft to a ski to, I think it's a gyrocopter after the fact, getting 103%, collecting banana bird. It's just, there's a ton of things involved outside of platforming that just makes it fun. Music is great. The mini games are great. The time levels are awesome. Like, it presents a lot of different challenges and a lot of really cool things while still keeping that like simplicity of Donkey Kong or the Donkey Kong Country series. So definitely love it. And we're going to, once I get through it, we're going to have 103%, get the giant banana bird and all that good stuff. So it's pretty sweet. Now, reason I have been playing Suikoden, though, is if you haven't watched this show, you have to check out The Boys on Amazon Prime. Have you even heard of it?
No.
Dude. It's a Dynamite Comics comic series where superheroes are pretty much like a privatized corporation. Like, there's a corporation called Vought that they have superheroes, and those superheroes are then like sold to different markets within the country. So like if Cleveland wants a superhero, they can pay Vought like $300 million to have their superhero, and he's like the face of the city and protects the people and everything else, or she. And so it goes around this story of this guy that he's sitting like, or standing with his girlfriend in a road, and a speedster comes by and just smashes through her, puts her into like, she basically liquefies, and he's just sitting there holding her arms, like from the wrist up is gone. It's just like bloody wrist, and he's covered in her blood. And the speedster's like, I gotta go, like I can't stop. And he just keeps going. And he just freaks out. And then the speedster's like, she was in the middle of the road. I was trying to stop some bank robbers. Just straight up tells lies. And from that point on, he gets with other people that have been affected by superheroes. And the goal is to kill the superheroes.
Oh, wow.
Dude, it's straight up awesome. There's 8 episodes in the season. And I binged it within a span of pretty much a day.
Wow. So that's a pretty heavy premise. I mean, it's kind of fitting that somebody who wants to end superheroes would be talked about in our end of our superhero month, but also streaming. Have you heard of the new streaming stuff that Netflix is doing?
You talking about like The Witcher and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, and then the tie-in of like all the other awesome things that are out there. Castlevania,
so
Stranger Things.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen it, Witcher is coming out for streaming, and it looks interesting. Like, I'm not sure how much I know about The Witcher because I've never played it.
Yeah, I haven't either, actually.
But from what I know about The Witcher, it's better have really good looking big monsters. Like, I'm talking, Game of Thrones level, CGI. Well,
and dude, the thing with Netflix that they've done pretty consistently is when there's something that's popular, they support it. and they'll go for a little bit and like cap it off with an actual ending. Like that's one thing I've noticed about their show. So even if this Witcher series goes like 2 seasons, as long as we get like 20 great episodes and it ties up nicely,
That's enough.
I think people will be happy.
Yeah, instead of just letting it go on till it has
Yeah,
long overstayed its welcome.
Yeah, if this was on like a CBS or ABC or something, you can guarantee it'd be gone after 1 season.
Right. And then they also had the Castlevania series, the
Dude,
anime series,
it's
and that's
sick.
supposed to be really good. You've seen that too?
Yeah, I haven't finished the 2nd season yet, but it's actually very good. It's pretty exciting. Lots of blood, lots of gore. You know, the overall character. I think it takes place during the time of Castlevania 3, if I'm correct.
I haven't seen it.
Well, regardless, it's awesome. You should check it out. And I'm not a big Castlevania fan, in all honesty. You know, I've played some of the games, and I don't think I've ever beat one. It's just not my style of game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in this article on switchedongamer.ca, for Cody Gravel wrote it, he talks about Netflix Witcher adaptation and mentions the Castlevania series, but he also talks about a few other shows that have been opted. So Diablo and Devil May Cry as series. So those would also be really interesting. But then he goes in and he talks more about how, you know, Netflix games are another thing. And there was that Black Mirror Interactive. You know, they have another interactive.
Bear Grylls.
Yeah. So that's kind of Netflix getting into gaming. But Stranger Things has a game. And
Well, I think they have 2 games. And we talked about a while back, a mobile game and then the new next-gen console game, Stranger Things 3. Right?
no, I don't think that there's one. Because this article speculates about them doing like a AAA adaptation of Stranger Things, but I don't think they actually have one. They have some sprite-based game you can see in
that's
the article.
that's the mobile one, I think.
Okay, so that's the mobile one. Other than, you know, that killer half hour we spent with Dr. Mario, I haven't done a lot of mobile gaming recently.
You know, I don't either. And I think for me, a big part of the lack of mobile gaming for me is just I don't want to be inundated with a bunch of ads. Like, if you have a mobile game and it's going to cost, you know, generally if like what you need to break, you know, or make profit is an average, say $20 a person, I'd rather pay $20 for a really good mobile game that I know I'm going to get a lot of time out of and really enjoy versus having a game and then having to be forced to purchase like diamonds or something or some sort of currency to continue playing or get the best experience.
Yeah.
You know, through all these in-game transactions, like just sell me the flipping game and let me progress the way I want to.
Well,
and that's
see,
it.
I played one not too long ago, I Love Hue, and it's a game where you have to organize colors by gradient. And it's just like a tile matching kind of game, sort of. So it was free. There was ads. The ads weren't super intrusive. But for $2, it would disable all the ads forever and give me like a whole bunch of stuff so that it really came to the point where I never have to wait for the recharge thing for the next day, you know. So it's annoying that I had to pay wall through that, but I felt that it was fun and I enjoyed it, and I thought, hey, if I want to throw them a couple bucks just to get rid of the inconvenience, that's worth it.
Well, and the thing with those advertisements too is they probably make more money having the free version, which is why they would allow it to be sold for free. And you obviously have the ad revenue coming in. Like, people are paying them for that.
Yeah.
And they probably get more per person. Like, if you continually play it and that advertiser says, oh, well, I got, you know, Ryan has seen my ad like 6 or 7 times, that adds up, obviously, over time. Might be, you know, a penny or two each time you see it. But the more you play it, the more ad revenue comes through. But you throwing the $2 and getting rid of those ads, it's just immediate gratification for them. Like, all right, we sold it. You know, this guy's got it, but we've got the money offhand. And I've paid, you know, $1 and $2 for different games, get rid of ads. But, you know, my point would still stand. Like, I don't want to have to stop what I'm doing, get to a level, and it's like, you know, to continue, it's going to, you can't play again until 24 hours later, or purchase like 5 diamonds for $5 to get extra lives. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to just keep playing the game. And the fact that if I die like 6 times, I've already paid $30, like, just let me pay like $20 to $30 up front and then sell me cosmetic, items if I want them throughout the game.
Well, and that's its own controversy, but
Well, yeah,
anyway,
which we discussed and probably
yeah.
beat dead at this point. But
Yeah, that's all over. But it is one of those things you can watch out for if you're not into that. Don't let them make you feel like you have to play their game. Don't get hooked on it just because it seems like the thing to do at the moment. Because there's always like you could go out and get that PS Classic, and that has so much on it. That's
hours
way
upon hours
more
of
worth
content.
Your time.
Final Fantasy VII's on there. It's 60 hours of gameplay right off the bat, man.
Or you could download Final Fantasy VII on your phone if you need a phone game.
Yeah,
And I bet it won't add or nickel and dime you to death. At least I hope not.
I didn't save this, but I play emulators on my phone too.
There you go.
Yeah, there's other sheep. Neighbor's dog's barking, dude. Hope it doesn't get picked up on our mics. So, before we get into our next article here, I really wish they would do this game into a TV series on Netflix. The
Which game?
God of War.
Oh, God of War. See, I don't know, dude. I love the God of War series. It might be my favorite game series of all time.
Have you beat them?
I've beaten all except for the new one.
Have you purchased it yet?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I did like most of it.
Oh, okay. You just haven't beat it yet.
And then I stopped playing it like I always do.
My God.
No, and that may actually be my favorite game of all time, but I don't know because I've never beaten it yet.
How is it your favorite game of all time if you haven't beaten it yet?
Well, because I've beaten Res 7 or Res 4 so many times.
Gotcha.
Dude,
Dude,
it's like definitely my favorite game, but if I beat God of War, it might be better.
I guess we'll find out. But dude, it's already a cinematic experience in itself. If they put that on Netflix or Amazon Prime or some sort of like streaming service,
See,
I would
don't
totally
think so.
watch that.
I think the action and the combat and being him is more fun than watching it.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, it'd be nice to have like a continuation type series. Like if they never made another God of War game, it'd be like, all right, we're never making another game again. But hey, Sony Studios.
We just talked about this with you praising Netflix for ending things when they should be ended. Like if they don't want to make more God of War, don't let somebody else half-ass it.
So what if What if Sony Studios just said, kind of like the Ratchet and Clank movie, we're gonna make a movie based off that was based off the first game for the most part. What if they did like a God of War series based on the games?
That's what I'm saying. I prefer like playing the games.
But if you've
like
already
the Tomb Raider movies, they made those, and those weren't a good substitute.
Dude, the new Tomb Raider is actually pretty decent. It got terrible reviews, but I actually like it. Besides the point, you've already beat the God of War games.
No
It'd be
need
awesome
to
to have a
play
TV show.
Warcraft. Just watch the movie.
Okay, you bring up a very valid point there.
You mean every video game movie?
Hey, Ratchet and Clank was good.
Just about every video game movie?
I'm trying
Do
to
we
think
even
of
need to talk about Mario?
Oh man, that Bowser. The Sonic movie, that's another one. Dude, we can hashtag all of these right now.
This is we're getting away from ourselves here. So what John was trying to say was how interesting it's going to be to see what Xbox is going to do with the God of War creators now that they're moving over there to make something new.
Yeah, so you might want to call out who the article's by, but the article that we're referring to...
This is under Video Games Chronicle, posted by Andy Robinson.
Andy Robinson. So
Thanks,
this
Andy.
guy... Yes, thank you for the article. So he goes in to discuss that the Microsoft team out in Santa Monica, which is part of, I think it's their Xbox Live studios that they're hiring for. They've got 30 positions filled.
Xbox's initiative dev team.
There you go. So they've got about 30 positions filled with developers, consultants, etc. And they're looking to fill 15 more positions as of last week. But they've hired a number of God of War developers, like level creators and such, people that have worked on Red Dead Redemption, folks from the Insomniac team, which has created the Ratchet and Clank games, consultants from like EA and all these other different series that have been created over time, like
There's
successful...
so many designers, senior designer, lead designer, like all over this list. The article has a full list of who these people are and who they've been associated with.
The key
for the most
projects.
part.
There's people from Metal Gear Solid on there too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the interesting thing on here is that all of those people that they've hired have been all part of like major, like great AAA title series. Naughty Dog folks are in there, so the Uncharted series, God of War series, Metal Gear Solid series, all of these great different titles that have been released over time. And the one thing they all have in common is third person. Almost every single one of those games that they've referenced has a third person viewpoint. So it makes you wonder if Microsoft is trying to, for one thing, grab a lot of talent and probably pay them more than they're worth. And on top of that, create potentially a great third person game for their next generation of software. Like, they're definitely bulking up. I think this past generation, the Xbox One, given its lackluster sales compared to Sony and the Switch, Sony and Nintendo, is I think that's kind of a little bit of a fire. Like, let's bring in some talent, let's get some homegrown games coming in. We're going to bring all these people that worked with all these great projects, get into their initiative studios, and really get a jump on the next cycle of gaming.
Well, and that's something that is interesting to see. Also, looking at this list is a few people from EA Sports and FIFA. That's a software engineer, and then a technical director from Riot Games and 343. So those are notably not third person,
Yeah, but I mean, EA has third person games. I mean, it's just Electronic Arts. So those people might be brought in from, depending their position. If one of them's a manager, like a product manager or development or design manager, whatever it may be, their
but
full
I'm just
focus.
saying that this is covering like a spectrum. I mean, they've got HR, they've got concept artists, so it's really like developing a full all-star team from all different areas.
Yeah, and probably bringing in the best of the best in their respective areas to come in and do this.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that this is probably like the killer, I mean, at this point, would it be too late to say, it'd be too late to say launch game, right? Because we don't really know much about Xbox Scarlet, but I know that, and we're going to talk about it next, this is how I know, there's so much talk, every week we're talking more and more about PS5, but Xbox Scarlet really isn't something that we've talked about a whole lot since E3.
Well, I'm a little biased anyways because I'm not a big Microsoft fan, although this is really cool news to see them ramping up, because it's exciting, because when you have competition in the gaming market, that really sparks other companies to also innovate and create great games too, because they want to sell their games as well. So we don't talk a whole lot about Microsoft. I haven't seen a lot of news pop up anyways on the wire for Microsoft and their gaming, but in general, we really haven't heard a lot. And is it going to be released in 2020? I mean, I don't even recall them saying 100% we're releasing 2020. So we'll see.
Yeah, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, it might be a late, launch type release. Not launch, but, early 2021. But, it takes 3 years sometimes to develop games?
Well, and that's the only thing is these people, if they're just coming in now, this article may even be, we don't know when all these other people came into this.
Yeah, this could have been something that's been ramping up for quite a while, and they already had a team kind of set up of 10 to 15, and this is more of, we got to bring people in to speed up this process and make this happen. So I don't know, we'll have to look it up a little later and maybe talk about it next week on, maybe some of Microsoft's initiatives and really what they're planning to do at this point. Has this team, outside of the most recent hires, have they been working on something for a while? Have we even seen anything, announced at E3 tied to this specific studio? I'm sure that there has been, and we're just missing that.
Yeah.
So, but still, it's interesting overall. And in regard to PS5 and next generation, so I guess we'll lead into the first part, which is the cost of the consoles. And it was Sony recently, they had a pretty decent quarterly review of their finances. So they're, God, man, we just had one from my company too, but I'm trying to think of the technical term. Either way, they had a review of their, quarter, and basically they did pretty well. Their stock went up, and it's recently dropped now since things have kind of settled out and corrected. But Sony had made an announcement that if things continue to go the way they are with the tariffs in the U.S., that they will likely need to tariffs in China.
Yeah.
That they will likely need to raise the cost of certain products that
Most
are
of
developed out
Sony's
there.
manufacturing for PlayStation is done in China.
Well, most of everybody's manufacturing is done in China. And a lot of them are moving to like Southeast Asia and like outside of China to make development or develop their products, which is cool.
But it's probably too late for PS5.
Well, I wouldn't say it's too late for PS5. I guess it really depends on what's going on with that. They could be talking very well of continuation of PS4 in its life cycle, and that they may have to either keep the cost the same, like not be able to lower it for us. Maybe controllers are increased in price. Maybe the cost of games. This is an excuse for them to say, we're going to charge $70 now for a game. So we'll see how it pans out. But it's kind of a warning of we're going to increase prices based on production costs if this continues to go this way.
And in a reference that came out this week through an online vendor in Sweden putting out was it Sweden?
Yeah, it was Sweden. They had pre-orders for the PS5 set at $1,000 US is what it came out to.
And that's exactly what I've been saying. I've been saying it here for weeks, months. Everybody heard it.
You said bundle, right?
Bundled with VR, $1,000.
I mean, I can see
like,
it.
If it doesn't come with the VR, you're joking trying to get $1,000 for a console.
Yeah, and that kind of brings up a good point. Like, if it comes out at it's not 1,000. Like, there's plenty of people that say don't.
It's probably just a placeholder.
Yeah,
but 1,000 bundled with VR. I said it before, and this lends me some credibility.
Yeah, maybe. Just Google.
We'll see.
Yeah, go on Google, search up PS5 pre-order, and you'll see like tons of articles on this. One of the ones I read recently, I think it was Push Square, if I'm correct. Just straight up said, like, don't listen to the price point. Like, it even says on the bottom of their website, this is a placeholder. It's a disclaimer, saying this is likely to change. It's interesting, though, that they would even put $1,000 pre-order price, because if you want to pre-order, you generally are paying, what, $1,000, right? Maybe they're not doing upfront pre-orders. Maybe it's a portion of that.
Well, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand, like, why even put it up there this early when it's not even a real price. Like, I guess you got to get your system ready for it at some point, but
yeah, but maybe like put on there price subject to change, pre-order of $100 down, like that makes sense.
And the other thing is, now if you're going to be reserving through this like first opportunity, I mean, I don't know how that affects other people and when they're launching pre-orders, and how many versions are there going to be at launch.
Well, I mean, there will probably, I guess if it goes the way that we've kind of talked about, where you have a loose version, one with VR already included, and other types of bundles, and yeah, I mean, you could see different versions, different price points come out. So I don't know, it's $1,000 price order, but it really does beg the question of people pay in excess of more than $1,000. Apparently $1,000 for like a high-end gaming computer is a steal.
Yeah, but it does computer stuff also.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, who knows what this will do?
$1,000 PlayStation is going to be $1,000 PlayStation.
Well, I mean, 60 frames per second, 4K, some of the best chips that'll be on the market through AMD. What is it? Anti-aliasing, I think, is what they've mentioned on there too. Like, there's
that new rendering technique.
New rendering technique. Like, there's some crazy stuff that's going to be on this console when it comes out. But would you be willing to pay $1,000 for a high-end console if it performed to the same standards as like a $3,000 PC?
I mean, I don't think that that's possible, but also not unless it didn't come with VR. If no VR, no $1,000.
So you would pay $1,000 though for VR to be included?
If it came with the VR, yeah.
Dude, I don't think I could do that right off the bat. $1,000? That would kill me. Not kill me like financially. It's just it would pain me to pay that much money.
You'd be living in a whole new world, or you better be. Like, the games better be outrageously cool too to justify that.
Well, and not $75 a pop. Like,
they better have no microtransactions, and there better be no loot boxes.
Oh, there'll be plenty of them. Maybe live action loot boxes.
There we go.
Have a Sony rep
you
come to your house.
You actually have to open it in the VR yourself. Like, you have to unwrap it like
Dude,
a present.
Don't give them any ideas.
Surprise mechanics.
Surprise mechanics. Yeah, surprise. Yeah, I wouldn't pay $1,000 for it. I honestly am a firm believer. I've been screwed over too many times in the past few console generations. Will likely get screwed over by the Nintendo Switch. Always buy your console 6 months to a year after launch.
I mean, I didn't get my PS5 until they came out, or PS4 until they came out with the Slim.
I didn't get my PS4 till they came out with the Pro.
Yeah, same time.
Yeah, about the same time, yeah. So either way, check it out. Google it. It's kind of crazy, $1,000. And what's the reference for that Sony article with the cost going up? So if anybody's interested in reading that, I might have it up here on my computer. Yeah, let me click around here.
But also,
this one's through the Wall Street Journal. And who's that person right there? I can't read it. Takashi something.
Machizuki?
Close enough.
Mochizuki?
Well, either way, it's a Wall Street Journal article. Sony warns of PlayStation price rise if U.S. expands China tariffs. So, interesting article. Check it out. And what were you going to get into?
So I was going to get into the fact another interesting PlayStation thing that we were able to check out this week was Marvel Spider-Man for the Inflation Deflation Challenge, rounding out Spider Month.
Dude, I love how we went from like progressively crappy games to great games.
Yeah.
Towards the end. Like it truly did work out that way.
We turned it around.
I still think, well, no, I can't say Carnage was my favorite out of all of them now. Like this was my favorite.
This was by far the best game that we played all month. And I think it's not a surprise to anybody because it is the newest, hottest, best Spider-Man game, and everybody says so.
So, we'll get into the typical information here. So
Spider-Man,
I'll take
Marvel Spider-Man.
I'll take it here, Ryan.
All right,
yeah. You go through the price point version. So, developed by Insomniac, they're the same people that have brought you Ratchet and Clank and I think Spyro, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, fantastic games. If you haven't played them, check them out. Clearly published by Sony. Was it directors? Yeah, directors Ryan Smith and Brian Intihar, released in 2018. And the reception on this game, fantastic reviews. It has sold millions of copies worldwide. It continues to sell, and it's just still extremely popular.
Yeah, everybody was raving about this game when it came out. We had a good friend who played it, and he loved it. And I think that it's definitely something that now that I've kind of dipped my toes into, I definitely want to give like a full...
Like 50% of the completion and...
No. Let's not get crazy. I know there's all kinds of backpacks and stuff you got to find in that game.
Oh, no, I'm talking about 50% completion as in like 50% of the game.
Oh,
you're
just
like,
get through 50%.
Yeah,
okay.
Just be like, it's about 20 hours of gameplay. I'll do 10 hours and I'm done.
There we go,
I've gotten enough. Not even final boss battle or anything.
I don't know, man. This was sharp. I'm really digging Spider-Man after all this immersion into Spider-Man. So it felt really good to just see Spider-Man and play Spider-Man the way that we've wanted to all month. Like, you really... The web swinging was amazing.
It was definitely the most fluid web swing of any Spider-Man game I've ever played. Like, just by far. Now, the GameCube version was pretty cool. It did have some nice web slinging in it, and it was pretty
This was definitely the evolution of that.
Yeah, it was truly an evolution from that. And, well, I mean, was there anything on the PS3? I think there was.
The Spider-Man 2 that everybody loved was on PS3 because it had the same font as the Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah,
and that's the one that everybody previously had said was the like absolute best.
Yeah, this is by far the best one that I've played. And so right now the game is sitting at a price point of $26 new. I mean, really,
complete in box.
Complete in box. I mean, for the most part, new.
Yeah, new within the last year.
Yeah, and loose $25. Now, you can typically, I think I paid like $16 for mine. You can go to Best Buy. They've got frequent deals on this thing. Walmart too, for the most part. Amazon will have it. $20 easily all day long, maybe even less. I see this game probably hitting the $10 bin Black Friday this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, very quick, like $15 at the most for this title going into Black Friday, and it'll sit around 15 to 20. We'll leave Walmart and Best Buy and all that. It won't be on shelves after 2019 concludes, but you'll see it at GameStop like super cheap. Like, this is one that, the price is going to stay in that 10 plus range. I feel. I don't think it's going anywhere below that anytime soon. So
yeah, this is the most modern game that I think we've covered so far. So it is interesting to see that, as a collector, you can see it going downhill in the future and bottoming out. But I would say that I think that, agreeing with the masses here, this is a game that you would want to play. Like, this is a game that you would want to add to your collection. So it's like, if you found this for $15, I would say, yeah, no duh, it's definite pickup. I mean, people just bought this game for $60 less than a year ago. It's already less than half that now.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of shocking. I would have never personally paid $60 for this title, but at 15,
I don't think you pay $60 for just about any title. Very few.
Yeah, I have. I paid $70 for Owlboy.
Yeah, that's a special edition though.
Okay, but it was new. I'm paying for Neverwinter Nights. I got that bad boy on pre-order. That's not $60 either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What have I purchased recently? $60.
That was a special edition also.
Yeah, but that was like $120.
Yeah. See?
No, that was $100. Never mind. Yeah, you're right. I don't.
You need goodies, or you need to wait.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is for me. Yeah, it's you either pack it in with some really cool items and some fun stuff, or I'm not paying $60, and that's just kind of my mentality. I think one of the last games I bought at $60, or really $50, I believe at the time, was Metal Gear Solid 4. I think it was one of the last games, well, no, I lie. I picked up Star Fox on the Wii U. I paid full price for that pre-order wise, and that's gone down drastically. So yeah, it's bitten me in the ass a few times to buy full-blown, $60 games, and I try not to, because by the time I get to playing it, it's already $20, and I know myself. I know I'm not going to play it until it's super low.
Yeah.
So either way, do yourself a favor. If you haven't picked it up and you find it for $15, grab it.
Yeah, I felt like we kind of zipped through this one, but it's just, it looks amazing. And another thing is, it's hard to really say much with the time that we spent with it, except that it was fantastic. Like, we didn't have enough time to experience any bugs, and I don't think that there would be anything bad enough in here to stop you from wanting to get into it. I mean, if you're...
Well, here's the way I look at it with our challenges and stuff that we do on a weekly basis. We play these games for about 45 minutes to an hour. When Sony puts down, or even Nintendo puts down, they're like, hey, demo this game, and if you like it, you can progress on, like, purchase it full price, right? They give you an hour time limit to really get an idea of what the game is like, really get a feel for it, see if you like it, and move on and say, I'm going to make that purchase. So I think that the time we spent on it really was adequate to get a feel for, the overall graphics, where the story was going to go, the fighting style, the web slinging, everything really, like, and the comedy of it too. What was it, like, he's in an air vent, he's like, for a super villain,
he cleans his vent.
Yeah, for a super villain, he's got like super clean vents. So like that gave me a good enough taste to say I want to go back and play this game.
Yeah,
and
this was a good Spider-Man. This was every Spider-Man that you want in your media, but also felt like, it wasn't just piggybacking off of what we'd seen before. It's definitely an older look at Peter Parker. He's got his own apartment. He's not like the kid that's going on in the Marvel movies. So I think that they probably did a good job separating that, because I know a lot of the criticism about the new Avengers game coming out is that they all look like they are the stunt doubles for the real Avengers.
That's just crappy development to begin with, and apparently it looks good. There's another article that I was checking out that said the Avengers game looks phenomenal and that they're blown away by it. So maybe that's a gameplay thing. But, Kingpin does reference, like, after all these years, you're still a kid. So it's definitely an older Spider-Man in this game. And I'm going in, just like you, man, super fresh. I don't keep up with a lot of, like, hype around games unless I fully intend on buying it. Spider-Man wasn't a game that I had any intentions of really buying until I saw it for like $20, and the wife was just like, hey, can we buy this, because I want to play it at some point.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I loved watching the E3 coverage of it from a couple years ago, and I was jazzed about it. I thought it looked like a super cool game, but the likelihood of me actually playing it, until we decided to do this, like, if we hadn't done Spider-Month, I would have just seen Far From Home and been happy with that, but now I think that this is definitely worth my time.
Oh yeah, for sure. So We're probably coming. Oh, look, dude, right about close to 45 minutes. Coming to the end here of the episode. So, Spider-Man or Marvel Spider-Man on PS4. I don't think we need to do is it inflated or deflated. I mean, it's still at a a fluctuating price. It's going down, but at its current price point.
If you want it, pick it up now. If you want to wait. I don't think that you're gonna get a bad deal off of this game.
Now there is DLC though, right?
I believe there is DLC.
So
you can wait for like a Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, and there definitely will be. Given the history of a lot of these titles, I can anticipate there will be a Game of the Year edition. Typically because it's that end of the life cycle type of thing. Like we've already sold a bunch of sales are down. We got to pick it up somehow. Let's go ahead and throw out a Game of the Year edition. Try and pick up a few more sales. So I can probably confidently say that there will be a Game of the Year edition.
Okay, so wait for the Game of the Year edition then. That seems like probably the best. Then you get it for what, like $20 with all the DLC?
Yeah, and it'll make me look like an idiot for picking it up for $16 with no DLC.
There you go. Make John look like an idiot.
I probably wouldn't play a DLC anyways.
Happy birthday, John.
I appreciate it, man. All right, well, what do you want to do next week? We talked about, what was it, co-op games?
Yeah, so let's check out something cooperative. We'll go through because that's a big list. And we'll post it up when we've decided on something.
Yeah, maybe we do a poll on our Facebook. We've got a lot of new likes, so thank you to everybody on there.
Thanks so much for checking us out. Keep telling your friends. Keep checking us out on the social media.
UK guy, keep downloading us.
There we go. Go UK.
Yeah, go to UK. Find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio.
We're on Stitcher now?
iTunes. Yeah, we're on Stitcher. I mean, figure why not. Pretty much anywhere you can hear a podcast, you can hear us. If we're not on there, send us a message. Tell us we need to get on there.
Where you want to hear us most.
Yeah, we're on a lot. And then social media, Instagram, Facebook, I think is at The Game Deflators. Find our videos on YouTube. I'm hoping to post more content on there soon. Hopefully we can get the Elgato up and running. And
we got a capture card.
Oh, dude, that'll be fun when we can get that going.
We got to figure out how to use it.
Yeah, anybody has tips, let us know. And what's the other thing we're on? Oh, Twitter. At Game Deflators on Twitter.
Game Deflators.
Because
Twitter
fit the... Dude, I don't know why.
It's just too many characters.
It was at The Game Deflator or Game Deflators.
Yep.
So stupid. I hate you, Twitter. Well, that being said, sir, I think we got a pretty decent episode here. So I'm John.
I'm Ryan.
And we are The Game Deflators.